All right. Well, welcome everyone to I'm calling this the impromptu chat take two in March. It was the first one was in March too. Yeah, they're both in March. But it's an impromptu community chat. And I want to thank everyone who's able to join us and those that are listening to the recording. Thank you for being here. Thank you for taking time out of your schedules to be here. The biggest thing with this, I know within the community, within the club, we had an impromptu chat around 2 weeks ago. It wasn't even a full 2 weeks ago. I feel like it was actually like a week and a half ago. And there was a lot, a lot that was stated, a lot of emotions, a lot, even my throat just like went, a lot of emotions. And I feel like right now where we are in the world, it's hard to focus on business or focus on certain things when there's so much like negativity going on around us. And I was actually talking to one of my clients after that call. And oh, no worries, Belinda, after that call. And it was almost reminiscent to the COVID 2020 vibes, like dare I say, the way that the call went. And if you guys remember, I actually started the My Makeup Artist. It wasn't the community at that time. It was the My Makeup Artist Mastermind that eventually evolved into the Coming in Clutch Club. But that was all started during that time period. So when initially we were all coming together and we were all meeting, there was like a huge sense of hopelessness and a huge sense of I don't know what to do. The world is literally like going down in shambles. Like I don't know what to do. And none of us knew what to do. And even my hands are like sweating as I'm saying all of this. And the call that we had a week and a half ago, it was eerily similar to that. However, which is why I wanted to have the second call and I wanted to have a follow-up call in regards to that. We are not the same people that we were during that time. And I guarantee you that I personally am not the same person that I was during that time. So we have tools, we have things that I really want us to go over and talk about, and be that safe, supportive space for one another. Like, yes, I understand, and I'm not putting like a blankety, like trying to be like a positive patty blankety statement, like it's gonna be okay type of thing. It's not that at all, right? That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying that no matter what is going around us externally, we are going to be able to focus and have tools that get us through a little bit easier, a little bit, I'll say it like that, right? A little bit easier than we would have before. So I want to grant us all permission to think in that way and to shift our mindset in that way. We are not the same people that we were then and during that time period. And of course, we had to go through that for whatever reasons to learn whatever we had to learn, all of that. But I want us to just refocus and reframe our thoughts within that. I understand that there is a full sense of hopelessness, and I totally get that, but we're going to talk through this together. I'm going to keep it very open as well. So if you have any questions, if you want to raise your hands, if you want to piggyback on anything that's said, please feel free to raise your hands. The chat is completely open. I'm going to figure out a way to share this recording too for those outside of the community and outside the club and outside of my one-on-one clients. As you guys know, I opened this conversation up to whoever wanted to join us. And my intention behind that, honestly, is because literally every single one of my clients is feeling this. So I know if every single one of my clients is feeling this, including myself, I know that a majority of our beauty community is feeling it too, or my makeup artist community, or in general, just our community is feeling it too. So I'm hoping that us discussing this and us talking about these things will be helpful, not only for us here, but that we're able to like pour into our cup so much that it overflows and helps other people out there too. Another thing that I want to say before I even dive into my notes and into the chat, the official chat for today. I'm not saying this lightly. I'm not saying this because you guys are my clients. It's so weird saying that you guys are part of this group. But I want to commend you. I want to commend you for the work that you've been doing. Even if you don't see it yourself, I see it within each and every one of you. And I hope that you're taking a moment to celebrate where you are right now. Even if we're going back to 2020, which is 6 years ago, believe it or not, I'm not even talking about that far back. I'm talking about 3 months ago, where you were 3 months ago versus where you are now. You are choosing to show up for yourselves, for your families, you for your lineage. And we've talked about this so much, right? You are really going to be the change makers. And I want to commend each and every one of you just for taking that step to show up, because sometimes that's the hardest part, right? And what I say often here within the community, within the club, is just come as you are. I don't care if you're in bed and you have to have the video off and you're literally laying in bed after crying because you're having one of those days, but you made it here and you're here with us. Showing up again is one of the first steps, and just being around others who are able to create a space that can support you is huge. And if you guys saw my live yesterday, it was ironic because I've been doing the Cafe Con community with my little I'm gonna call it a crystal. It's a crystal cafe ball, let's say. I don't even know. But the tab that I picked out was asking for help. And we all have to do that at some point in time. So I say that to say, if anyone out there, anyone listening here feels as though they're struggling to the point that they need help, or they feel like they can't do it alone, please reach out. That's what this is here for. That's what I'm here for. That's exactly what we do. And it's so important to do that. Okay. All right. So we're going to get to the chat. And I know those that were on the first chat, within that specific chat, I went through actual tools that we've been using within the club, within the community, to help us get through life. It's not even through difficult times. It's literally through life in general. So if you guys remember, like some of the tools are the TLP list, the laundry pile, champagne popping moments, like celebrating, that's with gratitude, celebrating moments. So we went through a bunch of that stuff. So those that are in the club, in the community, you guys know those things. If you are not and you're listening to this and you want to learn more, reach out to me. I can definitely explain and talk about the tools that we use within the programs to you as well. And I would invite you to join us at that point because the tools are rather amazing. But this specific chat is more of, dare I say, inspirational. And I say that laughing because I'm like, who am I to give an inspirational chat? But I'm going to try my best because that's what we've been working on. And I definitely, the things that I'm going to talk about today are the things that have changed my own mindset in regards to the way that I approach my day. With that being said, I do want to announce one other thing. So, for those of you that are not in the club or in the community, I am opening up the doors, let me just say, the doors to the club are going to be opening up actually starting today. Shocker, surprise, yay. I told you guys it was coming. So with this call, the doors are actually going to be open to the club. And within this cohort of the club, I am tacking on the My Makeup Artist Mastermind with the club for the very last time. So I did two cohorts of this already where we infused the mastermind with the club. So the curriculum for the mastermind with the club members, and everyone gets everything at once. I'm going to do that for one last time for this third cohort, which will be starting in April. So it'll go April, May, June. I say that lightly because you guys know what happens. We usually go a little bit over because of time and things and the group. But this is going to be probably the last time that I infuse the two. But so the doors are open. So I will let everyone know, those that aren't involved. I'll send an email out. I'll give you guys the links, all the information so you can join us. And it will be, once again, an open and closed door situation. Once we get the program started, the doors will be closed because we will be working closely with one another. And it's super important that we have that specific group that we're going to be working with for the next batch of curriculum. And I said all that to say, within this next batch of curriculum, we're actually going to be approaching life almost like a game. And you could pick whatever game you want. And I'll talk about this on our very first call, but it could be a video game. It could be a board game. It could be whatever game. It could even be like an episodic or a movie. And we're literally going to have characters within our stories that all play certain roles. And it's going to be a fun way to approach and look at the way your life unfolds. And I promise you, it's transformational. I've been working on this probably for the past I want to say maybe 4 months, but I've been implementing it during that time period as well. And I approach things completely different now. It's almost like, oh, I see your character XYZ, and I know why you said that because we're challenging me today to do whatever, whatever. It literally is like mind-boggling, and I love it. And I'm so excited to present it to you guys. And I feel like I'm at a place right now where I can transmute it properly. So we're going to be doing that within the next cohort. So really exciting stuff. And again, more information to come, but of course, I had to announce that on here. All right. Okay, I was looking at the time. Let's get this party started. All right. So, piggybacking off of the last chat, again, I know many of us are in a situation, or not many of us, everyone is in a situation where they feel a little bit, what's the right word here? Hopeless, I guess is the best word that I can say. Like, what is going on? Why am I doing this? What am I here for? A little bit lost. Um, like, why me? All of those things are, I feel like, are going through a lot of our minds. And I want to first start off this call with you guys having an open mind and just kind of sitting within your own thoughts and just, if you can, get in like a meditative state almost, and just thinking about the question, do you believe in miracles? And the reason why I'm calling it miracles, and you can actually substitute miracles depending on what you believe in here. Again, it doesn't matter to me what you believe in, whether it's God, universe, leprechauns, rainbow. It doesn't matter to me. Whatever you believe in, right? You could substitute miracles for magic. Do you believe in magic? Do you believe in a power greater than you? Or I actually invite you to even substitute the words do you to can you? Can you believe in miracles? Can you believe in magic? Can you believe in a power greater than you? And that's where I want us to start. In order to really change or reframe the way that we're thinking of certain things, it's going to, and I'm going to laugh as I say it, it's going to require us to be a little, what I'm going to call de woo woo. Y'all heard of Delulu, right? So we're gonna term the phrase de woo woo because we're gonna believe a little bit in the woo, right? So we're gonna get a little de woo woo up in here, and I hope that's okay. And again, I don't care what it is that you believe in; it does not matter to me. And within the de woo woo status, and we're gonna talk about this in the next batch of curriculum, the characters and everything that we believe in. Again, I'm just going to say certain things so that way I'm putting everything out there depending upon what your beliefs are. It could be God. It could be like more like that religious part, right? It could be spirit. It could be magic. It could be ancestors. It could be guardian angels. It could be universe. It could be, like I said, leprechauns. It could be whatever that is, you insert that right in there, right? In that space. But I need you to believe in something. So again, I will say that phrase and I'm going to reframe it now to can you believe in miracles? Because all that to me equates to miracles. And before I even move on from that, because I feel like this really is the most important question before we even dive into anything, because I feel like where we left ourselves in the last chat, it was like that. It was like, can we? Do I want to, but can I? So I'm asking you, can you? And I want you to go back within your own life and look for those moments where you had miracle moments or you had magical moments. And I'll tell you one of mine that I remember that's coming right off the top of my head when I went through the breakup that started breakups to makeup. I remember, and I'm sure, I think most of you guys have heard this story. I remember at that time, the boyfriend that I was with, we had, before we broke up, we had gotten into an argument of some sort. It wasn't even a bad argument, honestly. It wasn't even bad. Like a typical, couples argument. He had to drop me off at the airport, and I was going to see my best friend for her 30th birthday, I want to say it was. So it was like a big deal. I was flying down to Miami. He dropped me off at the airport. We had just gotten into an argument. And what happened was the night before, he was supposed to pick me up from work, bring me to the airport, and he was running late, but didn't tell me he was running late. I wound up missing my flight. So it was a whole big thing, and I was upset. So we'd gotten into this argument. He wound up dropping me off that morning to catch like the first flight out because I was on standby or whatever. And I was able to catch that flight. But as he dropped me off and he left, I walked into the doors of the airport, and this beautiful woman that was dressed in like a flight attendant's outfit, but really tall. She looked like a model with these huge heels, gorgeous, gorgeous woman, stops me because I think I still had tears in my eyes. And she puts her hands on my shoulder and she's like, "You need to leave him." And then just walked away. And I was like, what just what just happened? And mind you, I wasn't even this like I wasn't in this frame of mind. I literally was walking trying to find like what where I had to go to check in, and I was like, oh, okay. And then I was trying to look for her, and she like vanished into thin air. And I remember like distinctly that was like my first coming into contact with a power greater than me, if that makes sense, because literally I swear to you guys, she's disappeared. And stuff like this has happened to me like on my path since then, but I remember that specifically. And of course I didn't listen. I was like, okay, great. Thanks, lady that disappeared. I don't okay. But later on I realized that I did need to leave him, and that was the best thing for me and all of that. So I say that to say just think of those kind of moments. I have a bunch of them, a lot of them related to business as well. Even recently at the last makeup show a year ago, I swear to you, like an angel of some sort came to me and started talking to me and telling me how amazing the stuff that I'm doing is, and how she appreciates me and all this stuff. And at that particular time, if you guys have ever been to the makeup show, it was like when it was closing. So security was trying to get everyone out, and they weren't telling her to leave. It was the weirdest thing. And she just stayed. And I just felt like this aura around her of light, this beacon of hope. And then she walked away. I blinked one time and looked, and I didn't see her anymore. So this has happened to me often, and it doesn't have to happen to you in that way. I'm just asking you to go back on your path, on your journey, to think of times where you felt it was like a miracle happened or magic happened or something greater than you happened and came in and had your back. And even me saying that, I'm getting chills. Those are the things that we need to believe in. It's like those little slivers of hope that we know that something is there for us. Something is there protecting us. Something is there guiding us. And something is there that wants us to achieve the greatest good of all. And that's where our hope is going to lie. Okay. So the D woo woo. And I can get into that a little bit more. I think I'm making my point. If you guys have any questions about that, please, please, please let me know. But that's our baseline, and that's where we're going to start, because we're all going to get real de woo up in here. And even sometimes I call it my crazy, because I'm like, I don't know why these things are coming to me, or why these people are talking to me, or why these signs are coming to me. I must be crazy. So it's even embracing whatever you want to call it, that crazy in you, and knowing that there's something there for you guiding you. Okay, so that is the first step, and that's where I want everyone to start. And if there is, the word issues coming to me, but if you're having problems even just facing that, then you and I need to talk offline, and we can powwow, we can chat, and we can see how we can open up our brains a little bit more, or our hearts, I should say, not even brains, our hearts a little bit more to that part. It's like surrendering. Okay, you guys, so we're in a state of surrender right now, and we're looking for those signs of hope within that surrender. Okay, so that's the D woo woo. So when I say the question, do you believe in miracles? Again, I hope you do. I hope you can, and let's start there. And if you can't, then let's chat. Okay, so that's D woo woo. The other thing I want you guys to remember is that we're always going to be a work in progress. And I say that to say that the only constant thing in life is change. We have no control over that. Like sometimes, of course, I'm like, we do, but we don't, right? Most of the stuff that I'm talking about right now, though, and the stuff that we were talking about on the first chat are things that we have absolutely no control over. And again, change is the only constant thing in life. I literally have to repeat that to myself numerous times a day because even like seeing the biggest example for me is being a mom, and then seeing like my son growing, and then just changing like right before my eyes, and it's like inevitable that change is the only constant thing in life. So for us, if we're thinking of ourselves within our life, or within riding the waves, and we're just going up and down and up and down, we cannot control what the ocean's going to be like, you know. And I don't know what ocean is, but yeah, whatever. We can't control that, right? But all we could do is ride it and know that we're gonna hit some big waves, small waves. We're gonna be all over the place and it's all rocky. But change is the only constant thing in life. And within that, we are constantly changing and we're always a work in progress. So a big thing we talked about, not in the impromptu chat a week and a half ago, but actually in the last group call, if you guys were a part of the club and you were in the last group call, was the fact of failing, or a fear of failure. And the truth bomb here, we're going to fail. And that's the only way we're going to progress. So when I say that we're a work in progress, we have to constantly remind ourselves that every day we're doing our best to be better than we were just yesterday. And that's it. So the things that we do, the things that we learn today, we're going to try to do that or better tomorrow. And we're constantly a work in progress. And I feel like once you set that tone and once you're able to digest that, then you're not going to fear failing as much because you don't look at it as failure per se. You look at it as your work in progress, and the work never stops and you're constantly just progressing. And within your heart of hearts, and if we're going back to the My Makeup Manual, the kindness aspect in the My Makeup Manual, every day we're operating from our hearts and we're operating out of love and kindness and just doing the best that we can. So that's why when I tell you guys, whenever we're reflecting back and we're paying homage, and I like to say paying homage to our past versions of us, even to our version of us yesterday, because at that specific time, we were doing the very best we can with the tools we had at that particular time. And we might have learned something new. We might have developed a little bit more where today we might make a different decision, and that's okay. So even within the next batch of curriculum, we're going to be talking about like past selves, present selves, future selves. And I like to say, like, when I'm doing certain things, like, for example, for me, like when I'm getting my son ready in the morning, I actually like to have everything laid out the night before, right? So let's say that's my routine. I always do that. It's ready, set to go. He wakes up, he already knows like the routine, right? But let's say I'm really, really tired one night and I'm like, man, okay, I don't feel like getting the clothes. This is an awful example, but this is what came to me. Getting the clothes laid out. I know I'll say it in my head, I'm like, oh, future Angelique is not gonna like that. She's gonna be mad that we didn't set that up. So it almost makes me go and set it up because I'm like, well, I know she's gonna be pissed off. Let me just do it now. Or it'll be like, current Angelique is really too tired, future Angelique. So future Angelique just needs to forgive current Angelique, like that. So, and there's back and forth, but I like to operate in that way because again, we're a work in progress and we are forgiving ourselves along the way. And I feel like if you put it in that like frame of mind, you're kinder to yourself and you're giving yourself a lot more grace and you're understanding that you're just doing the best that you can. Okay. So that's the work in progress. And I know I'm going fast. Stop me if you need to. I just want to make sure that I do leave time for questions. And there's a lot of curriculum, or I'm calling it curriculum. There's a lot in the chat that I want to talk about. So, but that's what I'm tailoring the work in progress right now. The third thing here that I wrote down that I actually just learned, I'm very excited that I learned about. I don't know if you guys have heard of this before. Have you heard of the terminology queenager, where it's basically taking you as a teenager and fusing like this current version of us, where most of us are in this like midlife version, and celebrating your teenage aspect of you. So we're no longer teenagers, but now we're queenagers. So it's like we're still having fun and we're paying homage. In my opinion, this is how I take it. I'm sure if you Google it, there's a bazillion different definitions of what it means. This is what I think it means. But you're still taking like certain aspects of like past versions of you, like your teenage versions, which we've talked about a lot in here, like 16, 17, 18, even going back sometimes 14, even going back sometimes 8-year-old, right? But anyway, you're taking versions of that, having fun, but using the wisdom that you have now, and it's fusing everything together. And now we're all queenagers, and I love that for us. So looking at life through that lens where we're fusing everything together, and I think this piggybacks perfectly on what I was just talking about with the work in progress part of things, where we when we're acting again, we're acting out of love, kindness, all of that, right? But we're also taking into consideration all parts of our journey that brought us to where we are today. So all of those parts play a crucial role in who we are. So many of us, or most of us, were really, really upset on the last chat, right? And we're upset with things going on in the world right now. We're upset um, with humanity, let's just say, if it's okay for me to say that. Um, and I think if we're able to, and this is just an example of this specific thing, but if we're able to kind of see the root cause of like, what is it? Is it fear? Are we scared of things? Are we disappointed? Like going through those emotions and seeing where they're coming from. I know for me, because I was able to dive into it a little bit on my own, I'm disappointed a lot, especially with the part of like a lot of the racism that's coming up, because I feel like when I was younger, we had to go through it so much, right? I thought by now, as a world, we would have figured it out. So there's a sense of disappointment within there, and that's me connecting with like my younger self and letting her know that I'm hearing her out and I'm hearing what she's saying. And then I'm imparting my own current wisdom on there as well. So like the tools that we're learning here and letting her know like it's not the same that it was then. We're different and we're able to handle things a little bit differently. That was a heavier topic to choose. I don't know why that's the one that came to me, but that's what came to me, you guys. So I hope that makes sense. But it's really important when we are going through things. And it's not just what I'm talking about right now, in general, like personally, business wise, everyday things, normal everyday things. That for me, what has really, really worked is connecting with whatever part of me feels out of alignment within that. And a lot of times lately, it has been like my teenage self, especially being in midlife. It's been the teenage self that's like, hello, like, don't you forgot about me. Remember, we like to do this. We like to dance. We like to style our hair. We like to be different. Like, hello, I'm here. Like, why are you forgetting about me? That kind of situation. So I think within everyone, it's good, or I know within everyone, it's going to be absolutely different, but I think it's important for us to figure out where that is coming from and make some sort of connection within that. I will tell you, for those that are joining us within the next cohort of the mastermind, we're going to be digging into this a lot, and we're actually going to be naming like characters for these different parts of us. So it'll be a lot easier to connect because the character will have a name and it'll make sense, and then we're going to be able to connect. But I do feel, dare I say this, that a lot of people going through what we have termed a midlife crises or crisis is because they're not connecting with certain parts of themselves. Like they're just leaving them hanging. And I think it's so important. And I think this is actually one of the most important things that I'm talking about on this call now that I'm thinking about it is to connect with them, figure out what that looks like for you and do that. And I know a lot of us in here are makeup artists, not everyone is, but I know we've had a lot of talks about that within, for us, it could be the fashion, because we love the fashion, or maybe even the makeup artistry, like the type of makeup we used to do on ourselves back then, or wearing certain things. There's so many. I know for me, it was hobby wise, like discovering certain hobbies, like going back to playing tennis again. Ah, I love it. Love it, love it, love it. And then of course my back wasn't cooperating, so I had to do other things, but I plan on getting right back to it soon. Pickleball was working for me, even though I didn't have pickleball back then, but it was similar to like tennis and I was able to move my body, so I liked that a lot too. Even going through old pictures and just remembering who I was, so important. So queenager is the terminology I think I'm going to embrace. We'll see what happens with that. But I love thinking about even myself as like almost like that teenager mentality, or not even it's not the mentality, the teenager vibe, let's say, but with my current wisdom, like my current mentality mixed with it. So I'm having fun, but I'm an adult. And like, but it's been really cool thinking about things in that way. And it's been a lot of fun. But the point of that whole talk was to really remind you guys that there are so many versions of you within you. So it's not just you. And I'm not just talking about like just simply like past, present, future. It's even dissecting it even more. Like if we're going into the past, is it 8-year-old you? Is it like 16-year-old you? Is it 20-year-old you? You know, like they're all different. And for me, a huge, huge, huge lesson that I've been learning lately for myself, and this, like once you start doing this work, you're gonna see that different lessons are going to be highlighted for you. And again, within the curriculum, the next cohort, we're going to talk about all this. So don't worry. But for me right now, and it's going to sound so sad saying it out loud, I have discovered that I have to be okay with being alone. And I say that not alone, like by myself all the time, like by myself, like all the time, not like that, but not being picked to be on the team or not being picked to play in the sandbox, let's say. Those are all things that have happened to me in my past. And I I always tend to choose the road less chosen. And I feel like for me, like as a overall theme within my life, it's causing me to really look at being okay with being by myself. I hope that makes sense. So for me, that's like been my overarching theme lately, and it has been hard. It has been so, so, so hard. But digging back into my past and things, it has really helped me to heal those versions of me that were sad about that. And I even get teary-eyed like saying it now, but it's not as bad as before. But I feel strong too because we're it's all a culmination where we're coming, all versions of me are coming together like we got this. Like I don't know what's next. I don't know what's coming for me next. I know it's something big. I can feel it in my bones, but I'm gonna need all versions of me to power up, boom, and we're gonna face it together. And that's kind of what I'm talking about. I hope that made sense because that was a little hard one to break down a bit. But I promise you within the curriculum it makes way more sense. I'm just kind of freestyling here a little bit. But that's what I'm calling Queen Ager. Sam, I have often said I am the cheese. Yes. You know what, Alice? That's so crazy that now that you're saying that, and it's not crazy because we know when I say when it's crazy, it's not. That's most of us in here. Surprise! And guess what? What do I say about us in here as well? We are leaders. So, what if we reframe it and we're just like, that's what it has to be in order for us to lead and do certain things to change certain things within our communities? And that's just what it has to be. And we have to be those people. It's so funny. I wish Christina Vita was on this call. I remember when we were first having these calls, like back in COVID, back during COVID time. And I remember she would say often where she's like, well, who's gonna do it? Like, why is no one doing this? And I would say it too. And it's like I've come to the conclusion that if we're asking that question, we have to point the finger back on us. We're the ones to do it. And we're the ones that are going to be cutting the red tape and we're the ones that are going to be putting it out there. End of story. Yeah, that's it. No more looking for others to do it. We're the change makers, and that's what it is. And because of that, a lot of times we're gonna feel like we're alone, which is why it's so imperative to have groups like this. So even if you decide not to, come with us into the mastermind portion of this next cohort, if you're listening to this on the replay, please promise me you're going to find something with a group of people, because whatever it is that you're building, whatever it is that you're making or creating or doing, or even if it's just you trying to get through your day, you are a different breed. You're not thinking how other people think. It's so important for you to find those that have the common interest and common similarities that you do, so that way you can walk the path alongside someone. It's so important. Okay. So I just want to put that out there. And I know even myself saying it, I'm giving myself chills because I'm going through this right now within like my own personal stuff. And it's like, wow, okay, that makes total sense. Short story, really quick, promise. So it was funny because you guys know that I've been having, I'm gonna say it cautiously. Let's just say friend issues. Okay. I'm gonna say it very like generalizing. So I'm not in case anyone is listening to this that I know. Um, so and we also know though, right, that I'm a makeup artist, I'm a beauty entrepreneur, I'm a coach, all these things, right? So when I'm saying friends, I'm not talking about people within my industry. I'm talking about those outside of my industry on a personal level, right? And it has been very difficult for me because I'm used to being surrounded by people that I think like me. Like I'm used to being well liked. I want to say that in a way that sounds humble, but I hope whatever. I'm just one of those people. You guys know me, right? So the fact that I feel like I'm not being liked and I'm actually being ostracized has been killing me because I'm like, wow, that is not my personality. Like I'm so used to like fitting in with everyone and I could go from group to group and like, hey, whatever. And it's just not being that way right now. And it has been such a hard pill to swallow, but I do truly believe that it is preparing me for something bigger than I can even imagine. Once I figure out what that is, I will circle back, I promise. But I know that it is. And I was talking to my best friend about it, which I always say my poor best friend. I'm like, she doesn't count. She counts, but I'm not referring to her, if that makes sense. I'm referring to like other friends. So, and she was like, well, don't you have your group? Don't you have your community? And I was like, yes, but I'm not talking about. And then I stopped myself. And I'm like, yes, actually, I do. Why am I like pining for like attention from people that don't even see what I'm seeing and we can't even hold a conversation when I have all of you beautiful souls here that understand me and accept me and love me for who I am. She literally had to like remind me. I was like, oh my gosh, Lynn, you're so smart. And you've never even been on a call with us, but you get us. I love you. So it's like that. Alice says it just sounds like they are not your people, but sometimes you can't always only be with your people. Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, there's so much to unpack with this, so I'm not going to get into it, but I appreciate it so much, Alice. But yes, not my people, but also exactly. That's exactly what I was going to say. So Monique says I had to learn to be fine with it. Yes, that they're not my people, but I had to learn to be fine with it. It's more than just being like I haven't found my people yet. Like I'm I may not here with the area I'm referring to, if that, and I think Monique gets what I'm saying. With the area that I'm referring to, I may not. It just is what it is, and it's because I'm doing certain things that they may not understand, and that's okay. But like within here, you guys are my people, even though you're not like with me, and we're physically in different parts of the U.S. of the world, actually. But that is okay. I hope this is coming out right, but it's hard. It's hard. But again, if you haven't found that yet, which I'm hoping if you're here, you feel like this is that for you, and I'm grateful for that. But if this is not the space for you, I hope you do find some space where you can feel like you can show up as you are with tears in your eyes, pajamas, whatever, you know what I mean? And you find your people. Because I do like my best friend is my person in that way, but I'm talking about kind of with other stuff, if that makes sense. Again, lots to unpack. If we need to have a full talk on this, we absolutely can, and we can open it up. I could plan that for later on in the month or maybe next month. If this is a good topic, let me know in the chat. We can totally unpack this a little bit more. But that was what was coming to me. And actually, this piggybacks really great on the next thing. Hold on, let me see. Monique says they might feel threatened or your positivity disrupts their negativity or spirit. Yes, there's a lot. There's a lot with that. And a lot, again, that I'm going to be sharing this recording. So I don't want to like get into it too much, but we can totally unpack it on another call and we can have everyone open up and talk about the stuff they've been dealing with as well. But my point is, I say all that to say, us as leaders and us within this group, we're going to be prone to that. And I feel like that was something or that's something that's not really said as much. Like, like failing, you're gonna fail. Like point blank, you can't avoid it. It's gonna happen. Like not fitting in with certain groups, it's going to happen as far as a leader. I feel like people just don't say that out loud. It's going to happen. And you have to be okay with it. And then you have to find your people or be okay. I would say, first of all, be okay being alone for a little bit. And that's where I am right now. Like, you have to be okay with being alone in certain aspects. And then you'll find your people too, because you know, it's almost like being in a relationship, right? Like, when you find out like who you actually are as a person, that's when you can bring someone in because you're not trying to find someone who's completing you because you're already complete. You know what I mean? So it's like that, but with friendships. Failing is growth. Absolutely. I agree. So with all of that, the next thing that I want to talk about, which is ironic that you said what you said, Monique, you always get me into the next thing. Envy, fear, shame, no more. I don't know why I wrote it like that. However, when we get into the batch of curriculum, we're going to be talking about characters in our stories or characters within our game that literally are put in there to show us things or bring out of us the feelings of envy, fear, shame, all of those things. I think it's so important for us to be okay with saying those words and be okay with shining a light onto those feelings and those words rather than even the word shame is in there, rather than feeling shameful that we're having those feelings. Those words are gonna teach us, or those feelings, I should say, are gonna teach us so much more about ourselves than we can ever imagine. So if you feel as though you are getting a sense of envy, you're getting the sense of fear, you're getting a sense of shame, I invite you, and for those that are going to continue on with the next batch of curriculum, we're going to do it together, but I do invite you guys to take a deeper dive within that. Like, what is that saying? Like, where is it coming from? It's going to tell you so much about yourself. But I don't want you to try to push those feelings away. Does that make sense? Because they're there for a reason. To me, it's similar to like fear. Fear is in there, so that's there you go. But like I was gonna say failure, like having the thought process that you shouldn't be failing, like you shouldn't be having feelings of envy, you shouldn't be having feelings of shame or fear. They're implanted within our journey for a reason. They're teaching us something. And I thought, even going back to, if you guys have ever seen Inside Out, the second one, and how they added the newer feelings in there. And oh my God, envy was one of them, but there was a couple of the other ones. But I thought it was very interesting that envy was in there as well. It really tells us so much about ourselves, more so than the other person. And also, if we're holding a mirror out, and kind of Monique, what you were saying about people feeling threatened by you, I'm able to reverse it and actually look at those people that feel that way about me, look at them with a lens of love a little bit as well. I'm still working on that though. I'm not going to lie to you guys, but I'm able to reverse it and kind of say it within myself. I'm still processing it. But it allows you to look at people through a different lens as well. And we're always trying to look out of love, out of kindness. That is one of my biggest goals. And it definitely allows me to do that. But I wanted to bring up those specific words, envy, fear, shame, because I think it's so important, especially how we ended our chat last time. Because hopelessness was there too, but I feel like it was a lot of fear. And then for whatever reason, when I was writing this, envy and shame came to me as well. So I put them all together. So I feel like someone needed to hear that. I know I did as well. Um, and the shame thing to me goes back to even being a little bit more, I don't not why is graceful coming to me? Grateful, I should say, to like the past versions of you as well, and how far have you come. And if you can look at yourself through that lens of like your teenage version looking at you, it's going to change the way that you envision where you are right now too. There's a lot of tools, you guys. There's a lot. I just want to make sure there's nothing I'm forgetting. Hold on one second. I'm gonna pause there really quick because I have a couple of things I want to say like towards the end that I'm gonna go through pretty fast. But I want to pause there to see if anything came up for anyone, if anyone wants to add anything to what I've been saying, or if anything just came up for you, you can feel free to unmute yourself or say it in the chat. Is this making sense? Is it in alignment with how people have been feeling? I'm getting some hearts. Okay. Thumbs up. All right. Okay, so I will keep going. I'm actually going to make myself a note about for the next chat talking about relationships and friendships and all that because for whatever reason, I'm getting a sense that you guys are going to want to talk about that. Um, and I'm going to dive into that a little bit more. Okay. All right. So the last couple of things that I wanted to just touch upon kind of they're like kind of buzzwords I'll call them, but certain things to think about within your journey throughout your day if you're feeling a little bit more dismal, or if you're having a hard time. One big word is believe. And Melissa, don't laugh at me. I finally finished Ted Lasso. And I swear to you, I had this down before I even started watching that show. So for those of you guys that have seen the show, he has like this huge sign, believe. He's a coach for soccer players, and he has a huge believe sign that he has hung up in their locker room. So whenever they go out, they like tap on the sign, believe. And I actually have it tattooed on me, the word believe. And believe for me is such a huge, huge word on so many aspects. Um, it's believing in yourself, it's believing in a power greater than you, it's believing that the higher good is going to come to fruition, it's believing that the universe has your back, like all the things that we've been talking about. Um, Biggest thing for me right now is believing in yourself, because it's hard to do that given everything that we just spoke about. It's hard to do that when if you're creating something, for example, that maybe has never been created. And it hasn't been. If you're the one creating it, you're your own you. Like you are your own superpower. There's no one on this world that is like you, right? So if you're creating something, it's going to be different than anything else out there anyway, right? So it's believing in you, really. It's hard. So belief or believe is so important. Believing in miracles, believing in magic. The way we first started the call, all of that. But believe is a huge, huge word for me. So that's one of the words I have at the end of this. The second one is hope, and that tacks on to me for me as believe as well. And I know a lot of people have different relations with the word hope. I don't mind it. I am okay with it. For me, I feel like we have to have some kind of hope. It kind of piggybacks on believe that things are going to work out. And you could change it for believe if you don't really like the word hope. Use believe instead. But hope is a big one for me as well. The third thing is heart-based, that we're constantly operating from a heart-based mentality. So when I say that, I know those of you that were in the last cohort know what I'm talking about. But for those of you that don't, whatever decisions that we're making in life, sometimes we're at a crossroads. Sometimes we're at a place where you don't know what to do. You don't know what decision to make, and you're not sure. You don't know if you should have the conversation or if you shouldn't, if you should say this or you shouldn't, or if you should take this step or you shouldn't. For me, if you're making it a decision based on your heart, a heart-based decision, at that very moment, that's the best decision that you can make. Yes, it could change later. Yes, you might make a different decision later on down the road or switch it up. That's okay as long as you are making that decision out of a heart-based decision, or even business-wise, as if you're structuring your business. And for me, if you're structuring it from a heart-based mentality, that's all you could ever ask for in life, right? Like for me, that's so, so, so important. Everything else will follow through. But the reason why I'm harping on this a little bit is because we've been taught to do things in a certain way for so long, and we've been taught that if you do this, you get you go to college, get your master's, do this, do that, da 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 da, get married, da 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 da, follow these rules, all these rules, you'll have the best life. And we have come to find out that's not what it is. It's going to be different for everyone, right? So the decisions that you're making in your life, as long as you're staying true to your own heart, that's what you need to do. And your decisions are going to be different than my decisions, right? But as long as you're operating from that place, that's the best that you can do. So for me, that one is huge, heart based. And I talk about that a lot. Jackie says here, you need to believe to have hope. Oh, I love that, Jackie. Yes, 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 absolutely. So that's heart based. And then I have here, you have nothing to prove. And I wanted to say that because I'm going to try not to get teary eyed. Okay. We are all just doing the best that we can, right? In this lifetime. Like that's what we're here to do. We're operating from our hearts, we're believing, we're hoping, we're putting one foot in front of the other. Life is hard. It just is. We have nothing to prove to anyone but ourselves. And even that is hard, right? So I don't even like to end it with that, like that part, but it's true because if we're operating at a heart base and we're picking the best decisions that are for ourselves, right? But we have nothing to prove to anyone. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to fail. We're going to fall flat on our face. We're going to hold events where no one shows up. Trust me, you guys, anything you can imagine, I've probably been through it within my business, right? And I'm still here. I'm still here in front of you. I have survived it. I'm still talking about it. I'm still preaching, and I still believe. I still believe, right? So we have nothing to prove to anyone. And I feel like that's something that we have to just keep reminding ourselves, whether it is our parents or our significant others or our children or whoever, like dance moms or football moms or whoever they are, right? We have nothing to prove. Um, we are all just doing the best that we can. Belinda says, I always try to think it's their first time living this life too. It's my first time living this life. Give grace to yourself and to others. Absolutely. I love that, Belinda. And the biggest thing that I'm taking away from that is giving the grace to yourself. Because I feel like we actually beat ourselves up the most. We beat ourselves up more than other people would beat us up. You know what I'm saying? So it's so important. I love that perspective. Like it's their first life, it's our first life. We're just doing the best that we can. We're all just chugging along. I have here as well, true heart-based gratitude. So if we're going into gratefulness and looking at things through a light of being grateful and gratitude, which is super duper important. I'm gonna pause for 1 minute because I do understand that this can get a little bit like positive puke. Let's puking. I don't know why that just came to me, but it did. Where it's like, oh, let's just fix it with some positivity. Like, oh, you're having a bad day? Great. Just look for what you're grateful for. It's not that simple. It is not that simple. I'm sorry, but it's not. Um, However, once you do realize the power in gratitude, you will try to implement tools where you're able to be grateful for even the smallest things like, oh, it's sunny today. Or, oh my gosh, my covers are so luscious and comfortable. I love my covers on my bed. Like the smallest little things will help you out. So I wrote true heart-based gratitude. It can be small and it should be small, like the small things. Appreciating what you have, like down to like the roof over your head, like small things like that will help you during times when it's really hard to be a positive Patty and to look for the positivity or to get out of that funk that you might be in. It's the smallest things that are going to help you with that, reminding yourself of where you are on your journey or where you've come from or the things that the obstacles that you've overcome. Being grateful that you're on the other side. Now, small things, you guys, are going to really help you, but I call them true heart-based gratitude. And a lot of what we're doing again is from our hearts. We're going to be talking about that a lot within the next batch of curriculum. So don't forget about those things. And when you are in a funk, where I feel like many of us are right now, including myself, it's those small heart-based gratitude things that are going to help us glow a little bit more. like yesterday, I was having a very tough day. I was having a very, very tough day. So I went and I stopped and I went to my favorite coffee shop, not just Starbucks. It was like an actual, not that Starbucks is an actual coffee shop, but you know what I mean, like a mom and pop shop. I got like my Reese's peanut butter cup, the sweetest coffee I could absolutely get that I had been avoiding lately because I didn't want all the sugar. I had it yesterday. You know what I mean? What else did I do for me? I did a couple of things. I got my iced tea too. I don't know why everything involved sugar for me yesterday, but it did and it helped. I got my iced tea. It was just one of those days for me, and I needed the stuff. Like I needed things that were gonna make me feel good. I went to my place. I talk to you guys about this often. My place where I drive all the way down till you get to the ocean. And I sat in my car for a little bit. I opened up my windows. I was able to smell, like, I love the smell of the water and I love listening to the waves. And I did that for a little bit. There was so much on my to-do list yesterday and I could not get it done because I couldn't do it. I couldn't even prepping for this. Like I knew I wanted to prep for this. There was so much I wanted to do to send it out to those outside of this group. And I was like, you know what? Those that are going to need to hear it are going to hear it. I can only do the best that I can sometimes. And it was a hard day, but I got through it and I feel so much better today. Like between yesterday and today, it's like night and day. And I definitely know that's because of the tools, the things that we've been talking about in here, me being able to um um look at the gratitude and things like that. So I say all that to say that it works. It really does work. But also you have to be brave enough to go through the emotions and figure out like what's coming up for you, which look at that. I went through all that. Now we're going to have a full topic about relationships. We're going to talk about them because that was something that I was dealing with. So it's not by coincidence. I know for me, and we're going to talk about like mapping and looking at your journey almost like it's a map foreshadowing things that are coming up within your life. And we've actually talked about it before, but within the next batch of curriculum, we're going to talk about it. You know how I kept pinpointing foreshadowing a lot within this past cohort. We're going to talk about what that actually means now, like how we can take that information and use it and implement it. So for those of you that have been wanting to create systems and stuff, that's where we're going to be getting to. Okay, so stay tuned. But the foreshadowing for me, it literally is like a roadmap showing you certain things that you've been going through on your journey that are telling you like these are the things that you could be focusing on and it might help you. And if it helps you, it might help others. So that's where I am right now. Okay. I want us if you had time. We're not we're going a little bit over, a tiny bit, tiny bit. I just have a couple more things. The other one, trust yourself. This is a huge one. This was actually the main concept of my vision board 2 years ago, where I literally had to look at it every single day. Trust yourself, trust yourself, trust myself. Follow your intuition, follow your downloads, follow your thoughts. The reason why I wrote this one here, and I'm actually going to add to it so that way I do not forget, within the next couple of weeks. Well, I want you guys to trust yourself always. That goes without saying. I feel like I brought that up so many times. But right now, within this season, I know spring just started. And I know that it is a time of blooming. I know it's a time of we've planted all those seeds and we're excited to see where they're going to go and grow and all the things, right? I need you guys to trust yourselves right now. Whatever intuitive stuff is coming through for you, whatever downloads are coming through for you, whatever, if you're into prayer, if you're into meditation, if you're into following signs from the universe, if you're into following the leprechauns on their way, if you're into following rabbits or deer, doesn't matter to me, doesn't matter to me. I want you to trust yourself with the messages that you're receiving and follow them. I also understand that I was going to say some of us, it's not some of all of us in this group have overactive brains. And I'm not saying that as a negative. Even me saying overactive sounds negative. Let's use that as our superpower. Our brains are very active. Let's just put it that way. And we have thoughts that are constantly coming. It's like the squirrel brain. We all have squirrel brain in here, right? For at least the next month, follow your squirrel brain. See where it leads to. Have fun with it. use it as a game. And we're going to get into it a little bit more within the next batch, but we're not going to start that for a little bit. So I want you guys to just have fun with it. Trust yourself, follow your intuition, follow your downloads, follow the thoughts that are coming to you. I don't want you to, when they come, push them aside or be like, I don't know why that's coming to me. Like, why do I want to go to the park? I don't know. I'm not going to go outside right now. No, it's telling you to go to the park for a reason. Just go. Or like, you're walking somewhere and you're passing a coffee shop and for some reason you want to go in there to get coffee, but you've never been in that coffee shop before. I don't know. Just do it. Just do it. Okay. Just for the next couple of weeks. And I'm curious to see where that leads you to, because I have a feeling it's going to lead you to some fun things. So just do it. Trust yourself. And then within that, just to end it there, I want you to look for the signs within that journey of yours that you're taking right now, where you're just kind of following things and you're having fun and you're going, wherever the day leads you to go. Look for the signs, and then I want you to believe in what you're seeing, believe in yourself, believe in a power greater than you. Um, yeah, that's what I hope for all of you guys. I think that's it. Let me see. Yeah, we're gonna get deep into the de woo woo is what's happening. And I hope my hope is if you're doing those things that it allows you to or invites you to look less into what's going on externally with the things that we can't control going on right now. And it causes you to have a little bit more fun within your life and focus on you as the main character in your life or the character in your life in general and see where that takes you. Because that's what we're going to be getting into soon. That rather than watching, and not saying that watching a show is bad or anything like that, but rather than choosing to like watch someone else live their life, you're going to focus on living your life and finding the fun and magic within that instead. And I feel like that's what we all should. Oh, I don't like that word, need to be doing. I was gonna say should. No, we don't, we should on the should, but we should strive to be doing, let's say. Okay, I'm done. 5 minutes over, not so bad. I will open it up. Does anyone have anything they want to add or anything that came up for them? How does this sound?